podcast. Wow, I have never done this before. But anyways, again, welcome to Yasmine's podcast. Welcome to my Hopecast. Hope in the past few weeks has definitely become a topic that's been more front of mind for me. It's definitely a vague term and can be conceptualized in probably like 100 different ways. But let me offer my own definition here so we're sort of all operating under the same term. So, how do you define hope? I define hope as seeing, believing in, and actively working towards a light at the end of the dark tunnel, even when the darkness feels all consuming. So, before this class, I would say I was probably, and might still a little bit be, one of those people that thinks about hope just as kind of like a blind optimism. Yeah, I guess I had never really considered just how important like critically thinking about hope is and how that plays a role in your life, and not just the blind optimism, but I guess a more clear definition of hope. And so I would say Jane's book played a huge role in that, a huge role in me rethinking the importance of not just being a hopeful person who's like optimistic instead of being pessimistic and down, but a person who critically thinks about what hope actually means and how I can apply it regularly in my life. So I think a part of Jane's story that probably applies best to my life right now was when she finally saves up enough money to go to Africa. I believe she was 22 or 23, and I felt like I could relate to that so much. Not the going to Africa part, but the finishing school part and being in your early 20s and not necessarily knowing what is coming in the near future. But, through the series of events, she eventually got the amazing opportunity to go study the chimps. And I just love hearing that because it gives me hope that, just because I don't have a very clear plan about what I'm going to do in the next 2, 5, 10 years of my life, if I continue to apply myself, continue to sort of, I know this sounds cheesy, but follow my dreams, be open to opportunities. This doesn't mean just sitting on my couch and like waiting around for something to happen, um, but actively still working towards my quote unquote dreams that can happen. The other thing from Jane's book that really, really stood out to me was her ability to tell stories. I think she actively makes the decision not to sit and argue with people who have the complete opposite point of view of her, because arguing or like just presenting facts usually just polarizes two people or two groups even more. I really hope that I can I hope that I can take Jane's method and really skill of storytelling along with me. And so another thing about Jane, her 5 reasons for hope, I would say the one that's particularly appealing to me, it's got to be the indomitable human spirit. I just believe that humans are extraordinarily capable of bouncing back, of ultimately doing good, and no matter how dark or awful things get, humans have that indescribable ability to persist and persevere with goodness. And so that brings me to my own 5 reasons for hope, and I'll offer a little explanation for each of them. So, one of Jane's is young people. Of course, I get inspiration from my peers and the people my age as well. But I have to say, probably more so, I get hope from, I'll say, old people. Not necessarily people that are old, but people that have come before me, role models. I see the good work that they have done, and they give me hope that I can have the same sort of impact on the world with my life. My second reason for hope might be a little strange, but it's knowing that strength and lessons learned often come from hard times and from challenging situations. Quick story, in the fall of 2019, I tore my ACL while playing ultimate frisbee. That is one of the most significant challenges I've ever been through in my life. And now, I guess a year and a half later, I can say that I'm grateful that that experience happened because I have learned so much. So, of course, hindsight gives me that positive perspective, but that gives me hope because if I'm ever going through something, I know I will eventually come out better for it. And so that kind of leads me on to my next reason for hope, which is the power of time. Time might not heal all wounds, but I think it can do a lot for most. My next one also kind of has to do with time. It's history and past experiences. History generally, just the fact that things get better. My last reason for hope is also possibly not the best, but simply just that the alternative is worse. I suppose the alternative to hope is pessimism, is giving up. Not being hopeful just sounds so defeating. So I truly think that if there are no other reasons, a reason to have hope is because it's better than the alternative. So, in thinking about concrete steps I want to take to retain hope, so I think I want to start with having more conversations about hope. I think so, A, just talking about it more will get it more in my head, but B, I just think it will be really interesting to hear different perspectives on this. Wow, my message for Jane. I'll end with my message for Jane. Jane, if you are listening to this, I think wow, I'm so humbled, and I think the only thing that really I can say to you is thank you. Thank you for sharing your story so honestly. Thank you for your hard work and dedication throughout the years and for being so brave and courageous, and such a role model for young women around the world. Your story is inspiring, it's unforgettable, and I hope to keep it close to me and let your story influence the work I do in my life to make this planet a better, cleaner, kinder place.